Welcome to Cornell Marine Program's Digital Learning Podcast. I'm Rory McNish, and today we're spending some time on the beach. Hey, Mr. C.
Hey, Rory, how you doing?
All right, how you doing?
Well, nice day to be at the beach.
Absolutely. What did you bring?
Oh, well, I brought a few things to go on the beach, and actually it's kind of a cool day. I was thinking about going swimming. I had my swimsuit under my jeans, but it's a little cool today. We got kind of an east wind, but anyway, I brought obviously the important things for the beach. I got my sunglasses in case I need those later.
All right.
I actually did bring an extra jacket today because it's kind of cool.
Yep.
Let's see what else I got. I obviously have my beach towel.
Yep.
An extra hat.
There you go.
All important sunblock.
Sunblock, yeah, so I can borrow some from him.
Sure. Obviously hydration's important.
Oh yeah.
My water bottle.
That's good, that's good.
And what else is in here? I think that's it.
That's it.
I got a
beach
beach ball.
ball.
Whoa.
Oh, Mark!
Hey.
Hey, we'll get that later. Come here. Listen.
What did you bring?
All right. I brought my camera bag. I got my GoPro.
Good.
I got my drone.
Oh yeah, drone.
All right. And I got a nice healthy snack.
That's important.
All right. And I got my phone for some music.
Oh, maybe play Who Sings It later.
That's it. Yep. And I got my bottle.
Is that the special drink?
That's the special drink.
Oh, you don't want to tell people what's in it.
No. It keeps me awake at night.
Yeah, right. Okay. Good.
So I'm ready to go.
All right.
Yeah, so, hey, who's that coming down the beach?
I don't know.
Is that...
Do you recognize who that is?
No, not at all.
It's got a strange outfit, isn't it, for the beach?
You're not kidding.
You know, I think that's Tamson.
I think you're right. That's Dr. Tamson. Yay! I can't believe it.
What's she doing here at the beach?
We'll have to find out. Hey, Tamson, what's happening?
All right, Tamson, come on in.
How's it going? Come on in, yeah.
I got a question for you.
For me? Why?
Yes, you weren't going to go run into that grassy area over there and retrieve your ball, were you?
Man.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I don't want to lose this ball. It's that sentimental value.
Well, guess what?
What?
Even at the beach, there's plenty of ticks, and there's probably a lot of them over there. So you would have come out of there covered with ticks. I bet you didn't even bring any tick gear to the
No,
beach with
I
you,
bought
did you?
sunscreen, but
All right.
there's no ticks on the ball now, is there?
I don't see any, but that doesn't mean on a warmer day that there wouldn't be.
All right, well.
So, would you explain more to us about what's going on with the ticks, Tamson? Because, I mean, most people come to the beach, they're not expecting ticks.
They're not expecting them, but they're certainly here. Ticks travel around on animals. So they could come in on deer, which we have a lot of. They could come in on raccoons or foxes, or particularly rodents. So anywhere where you have grass and brush, that's where the animals hang out, and that's where the ticks are likely to be too.
How about a person brings their dog? Could they transfer ticks?
Sure.
there?
Yep, absolutely.
Wow, never thought of that.
Yep, you want to check your animals for that.
So, Tamson, would you take us over there and talk to us more about ticks?
It would be my pleasure.
All right, let's go.
Okay, let me put this in here.
All right, so we're over in the more grassy area of the beach, and this particular area, there's a road here, and that goes out to further on to Cedar Beach, and we're right behind the Marine Center. So this is kind of a typical place where you would find ticks. Is that right, Tamson?
That is definitely so, because you have all sorts of wildlife trafficking through this area. They've got a clear space, and of course, wherever rodents and other wildlife are moving, that's where the ticks are going to be as well.
Okay.
So if you went to like Jones Beach or Smith Point, there's grassy areas there too,
Oh,
right?
yes. Smith Point has many ticks, actually. We scout down there periodically to see what's going on, and they're even in the memorial area.
Really?
Yes, because the deer get up in there.
Sure, good point.
Right, okay. So what would somebody, as you're walking through this, what would somebody start to think about in preparation to avoid ticks?
Well, one of the things you want to do is to stick to the center of the trail. That's not going to keep you completely safe, but that's going to help you from picking up ticks that are questing on the edge. Now, the Lone Star ticks will actually follow you. So if you feel eyes on you, you probably are being watched by a tick.
Really?
Yes. But you also want to be aware, people tend to come to the beach all burdened down with baggage. If your baggage brushes up against stuff, that's going to pick it up. If you have a pet, that's going to pick it up. Or if you go herring off into the vegetation going, that's also going to help you to pick up ticks.
Okay. So if I'm at the beach, there's no grassy area. I mean, what are the real chances that you'd find ticks there?
You still could find ticks. If we have a heavy season, because the deer and other animals, foxes, etc., and little rodents, they'll come out after dark and after everyone is off the beach. And of course, as they go, they can shed or they can bring or what have you. So it's still a concern. So you just want to always have those eyes in the back of your head.
Yeah. I mean, I thought going to the beach, I'd worry about jellyfish stings, stepping on a sharp shell, or a crab biting your toe, but ticks, wow.
Yeah. Many times in our pursuit of an isolated location with which to enjoy ourselves on the beach, we will walk through beach grass or small shrubs, etc. And that tends to be the time that we pick them up. But that's not to say that you can't get them just from a regular public area.
So if I went to a beach and obviously they have dunes that protect the shoreline, and you have that beach grass there, could ticks be in that beach grass?
Absolutely, sure.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. Usually if ticks are out in that kind of open environment, it's going to be primarily the Lone Star tick or the American dog tick. The deer tick need more moisture, so they're likely to be underneath the shrubs.
So is it true there's a blade of grass, the tick will crawl right out to the tip? Is that true?
They can do that. They often will quest at deer belly height.
What do you mean by quest?
They will actually get up to the top here, and they're like somebody at a sports thing. They're like, whoa, 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 and then as something walks by, they will just kind of hook on. Now they don't fly, they don't jump, they don't have wings, but what they do have, because they're a good ectoparasite, they have little hooks at the end of their legs, and that helps them to climb rapidly up.
Oh, it's like Spider-Man.
Or like some Velcro.
Yeah.
Yes, very much like Velcro.
Right.
And ticks are positively geotropic, so they're headed for your ears and your neck and your head, because if you're a grazing mammal, that's the one place you can't scratch.
Okay.
So
now what about larvae? I mean, people talk about getting the ankles and that whole deal. You have something to show us?
I'm glad you asked. Okay. So most people think that they are a victim of what they call chiggers. But these are not chiggers. We don't have chiggers on Long Island so far as we know. A little bit different biology.
What is a chigger?
A chigger is the larvae of a mite. And there are some upstate, and there are some in other parts of the country. But what we mainly have around here are larval Lone Star ticks. And all those little pieces of dust there are larval Lone Star ticks. The other interesting thing about these guys is that they cling together when they first hatch. And so if you brush by those hatchlings, the entire group of them gets on you. And that's how you end up with so many bites from one encounter.
Tamson, I can verify that I know about the Lone Star tick larvae, because I've been bit a couple of times, and I have the alpha gal.
You have alpha gal,
I can't eat meat. And look at me. Me not eating meat, are you kidding?
Red meat, right?
Red meat, red meat, including, beef and pork.
That's tough.
Any kind of red meat I can't have, but I can have a lot of fish and a lot of chicken, so.
Then what you need is this fact sheet, which is available on the Cornell Cooperative Extension website on alpha-gal syndrome.
All right, cool. I'll put a link on there.
All right.
And it really stinks because, some people react in different ways, and my stomach actually gets upset too.
Yes, that's typical.
I went to the emergency room because of I had some digestive problems.
Right.
And I think it was from eating meat. Every once in a while I'll say, "Oh, I'm okay," and I'll eat something, and then all of a sudden, I get
you
a
have
reaction.
hives?
I have gotten hives. Yes.
And do you wheeze a little bit?
No, I haven't really wheezed at all.
That's good.
Yeah. So if I go to the beach, I have my sunscreen. Should I bring some insect repellent too?
You should, but you should never use a combination. And I'm glad that you mentioned repellents and sunscreen.
So, you should put sunscreen and insect repellent on top of each other?
Put your sunscreen on first, and then use your insect repellent.
Okay.
I would like to talk to you about repellents, if I may.
Sure, please do.
Okay. So many people, of course, many people will buy a repellent based on the brand name, like Deep Woods Off or Repel or what have you. But what you really want to do is be buying your product based on this tiny, tiny print where you need 7 pairs of dollar store glasses to read it, because that says what the active ingredient is.
Permethrin?
No, it's
other
not.
one?
It's picaridin.
Oh, Peconic.
We're going to talk about permethrin in just a minute.
Okay.
But what's even cooler is you can go online and do a Google search and put in EPA and repellents. And this whole database pops up. It's like 36 pages.
Wow.
It has all of the products that we have in this country that are registered, tells you what the active ingredient is, has the common name, so you can compare how long the products last. And even if you have the same percentage in a product, that doesn't mean it's going to work the same because they're formulated differently.
Huh.
Another really interesting factor is that some people don't seem to get very good results with DEET, so you can switch to picaridin or IR3535 as an active ingredient. That'll protect you against mosquitoes and ticks. Okay. And so again, you want to look on this database and see how good your product is or before you shop.
I had no clue.
No, I didn't. I thought it was the Permethrin.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a repellent. You can put it on your skin.
This says can be applied to clothing. Is it skin as well?
You can, yes,
Oh, okay.
because that is picaridin.
Okay.
This, same way to read it, is permethrin. This is a pesticide.
Okay.
Never on your skin.
Okay.
Only on your gear and clothing, and not while it's on you.
Right.
You spray this first, allow it to dry so it becomes essentially inert, and then you put your clothing on, and it's good for a certain period of time. You can also buy products that have been pre-treated, and they're good for so many washings or so much time. But when you've treated either your clothes with permethrin particularly, or even the repellents, wash them separately from the rest of the family laundry, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not that much is going to come out, but you might as well do it right.
All right.
So basically you would want to have your own gear, marked, I guess, when you're going hiking and different things like that, your boots and stuff like that, right?
Sense.
Is that correct?
Yes, and if you're going to spray the permethrin product, go outside to do it so that there's a lot of air circulation. And the other thing is if you've got a kitty cat, they're curious, so make sure your kitty cat's locked up. You don't want them to blunder into that. They sometimes cats will have an adverse reaction.
Okay. That's really good to know because I thought, I knew about the permethrin.
Yes.
Right? Is that the way you say
Permethrin.
it?
Are you gonna spell it?
Permethrin. Yeah, I'll spell it right now. and you had to do that, and you couldn't, because I was like, oh, maybe we should spray it on, and I thought, no, maybe that's not what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But that other product, you can actually spray it on like right now.
If it's a repellent, yes,
If it's a repellent.
and that's what that database from the EPA has, and it says how long the products work. And there's another active ingredient that might work, which is oil of lemon eucalyptus, but this isn't for small children.
Product?
It's a more natural product, but there are some restrictions. It does not work as long as either the picaridin or the IR3535
So if I
ingredients.
wanted to be more natural and I was going for a hike for an hour in the woods, would that work?
It would work, but again, you want to consult the database, and this is derived from pepper. So so that so that's not bad either.
So is this available at like regular?
Picaridin is widely available. You can go almost into any store like a Rite Aid. You can purchase it. The IR3535 is a little bit more difficult to find on the shelf, but you can order it. Everybody is shopping online.
You got that right.
Yes.
So Tamson, thank you for this. What do you do for Cornell though? That I see you're like in a lab suit and everything. You kind of scared us before.
I tried to.
I know. I was like, whoa, what's going on over there? But this is really for a reason. When you go out in the field, and tell us a little bit more about that.
Oh, well, what we like to do, just to scare ourselves and keeps us entertained and off the streets, is we actually like to go and scout for ticks. Now, you can't tell how many ticks you have with a thing like this, but you can tell if they're in the area, and where you would be testing is where you see evidence of animals moving around, or if your pets or people are moving around, or if you have any other thing that indicates that you would have contact between animals, ticks, and people. So this is just basically a flannel pillowcase was probably a good one at one point that I snitched from somebody. But at any rate, what we're going to do is we're going to pass this. I think there might be some ticks on here from previous, unless those are seeds. I have to get my. Oh, you know what? Let me mention this.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Your special high-tech
When you
equipment.
go to the beach, you always want to take a little magnifier glass, and you want to take a pair of tweezers. And the reason I like to put them together is people can find me. I sound like a mountain goat, but also I can pick tiny things off. Yes. And I can examine them.
Okay.
And the other thing that's very useful, and then I'll get back to this, is to have masking tape, because the ticks can get stuck to this. And what you can do is you can peel a piece off, wrap it backwards, and pat it against wherever you have your ticks, and then they get stuck and they go, help me, and that will help you to stabilize them so that you can check them out. So something you should never be without, or a lint roller.
Now, are you out in the field doing this for testing or for counting, or what?
Various and sundry, yes. Sometimes we collect for experiments. The Suffolk County Vector Control has a very large trial going, and we try to help them out by collecting specimens for them to put into their experiments, controlled experiments. Sometimes we're out just surveying to see if there are any ticks in the area, which is what we're going to do here. We just want to know if they're there. And sometimes we're going out because we're looking for a specific kind of tick. For example, there is the Asian longhorn tick, which is new to the area, and we would survey to see if we could find that as well.
And so going back to the chiggers, right?
Yeah.
You would be the person that would really know that there's no chiggers on Long Island.
We
is that right?
haven't been able to find them. Never say never, because nature is really kind of piquant and fruity that way.
Yes.
So
never say never.
Never say never. But all we have ever found is we found larval Lone Star ticks, and there are certain chigger boards, the sampling technique. We've never picked up anything on them except the larval Lone Star ticks.
Okay. All right.
Unfortunate enough, and I got a lot of hair on my arm, so I can find out. I usually feel a tick on my arm.
Yeah, me too.
So if I get one, if it's not embedded in my skin, what should I do with it, or how do I remove?
The best thing is if it hasn't bitten you, there are a couple things you can do with it. You can put it in a Ziploc bag and throw it away, or if you want to wrap it in tape to throw it away, you want one piece of tape going this way and another going the other way, because they can wiggle. If it's just one loop, they're like, pretty soon they got a leg out, and they get two legs out, and you come back half an hour later and you have an empty loop of tape.
No kidding.
So
wow.
This way and that way to throw them away.
Wow.
Don't burn them, because whatever they have in them, the burning will make them explode, and then you got tick guts on your eyelid, coffee cup.
Don't blow them up or anything. All right.
Yeah, and don't flush them down the toilet either, because
they
can survive the water. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, when you stagger into the bathroom, they're sitting on the toilet going, "Come to me!" So the other thing to keep in mind, which is a good segue to this, is when your gear is covered with ticks, throw it in the dryer first, because they can survive the washing machine. But if you throw it in the dryer, that desiccates them, and so that will be the end of them.
Any temperature? You have to have high?
It should be on high, and if you can't put stuff in the dryer, you can bag them up and solarize them, or put them in a hot car for a couple of days to dry them out as well.
Okay. Wow, good information.
Yeah,
wow,
good advice.
Very good advice. So let's go to the next step.
Right.
Let's say I went to the beach, or I was on a hike, and I came home, and on my arm I found a tick embedded in my arm. What do I do now?
Well, the first thing you do is you run around the house screaming at the top of your lungs because you've got a tick in you. And then after you've calmed down, if the tick were here,
here's my arm.
All right. If the tick were this way, I would come perpendicular to the tick. I get the lower end under the tick and the upper end of the tweezers on top of the tick, as close to the head as I can get. And then what I would do is I would rotate around, grasping the tick, 45 degrees, use my finger as a brace, and slowly and steadily pull backwards until the tick let go. Now,
you're kind of rolling them out with the tweezers?
You're not rolling them so much as you are, you're rotating 45 degrees, and then you're pulling slowly and steadily backwards, because the tick mouth parts have backwards facing barbs. Like a fish hook.
Yes.
So you're removing it that way. Now, once in a while, the head breaks off. So then again, you run around the house screaming at the top of your lungs.
It's still in my body!
That's right. But at that point, it can't do anything. And usually usually if you apply a drying disinfectant like alcohol or peroxide, it'll drop out in a few days. Don't dig at it with something that's not sterile, like your fingernails or the tweezers, to get an infection. And if you really can't stand it, go and have a physician or somebody in the medical profession take the head out. Or if it looks weird to you, do that. But for that, for the most part, that's an easy thing to do.
So let's say I went hiking today and then I found a tick embedded in me, and it was the next morning. I found, should I be worried about tick diseases then?
If the tick has not been embedded for more than 24 hours, chances are it has not been able to successfully transmit whatever it has been carrying, with the exception of Powassan virus, which can be transmitted in 15 minutes. But fortunately, that's not very common.
Thank goodness.
Yes, really. The thing you want to do is you want to retain that tick. So you get a Ziploc bag after you've removed it, and you put it into the Ziploc bag, mark the date with a Sharpie marker on there, and then you take out the Ben & Jerry's that you have not had since 1983 from the freezer and throw that out and stick the tick in the bag.
There is
in
no
there.
Ben & Jerry's from 1983 in
not my house.
Not
my
even just
freezer.
a little bit? You're saving in case of an emergency?
No, the emergency happened, and I already went down there, and it's gone.
It's gone. All right, so you have plenty of room for that
You can't
bag.
eat red meat, but you can eat ice cream.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah, so you want to retain that tick for about 3 weeks to make sure that you're not going to have any symptoms at all. Because if you have the tick, you can identify the tick and say, okay, well, that may limit me to these particular diseases, or occasionally the physicians or the medical profession may want to see the tick.
All right.
But it's important to do that.
Time to confess again.
Yes.
So
you didn't eat all the Ben & Jerry's. You're holding back on me.
It was venison flavor, actually.
That's how you got the disease.
No. All right. So no, but my confession is that it was probably I was maybe 25, 26 years old.
Yeah.
And I was walking around in a similar situation like this. Went home, and I looked down on my hip, and there was this round bullseye looking thing.
Yes.
And I went, my wife said, that's, you're getting a lot, that's the beginnings of Lyme's disease, right?
Not necessarily.
No. Okay, so clear that up for me.
Okay.
I went to the emergency room, they gave me antibiotics.
Right.
What happened there?
Well, that's a typical response.
Okay.
If there's any, so it's a precautionary principle, if there's any chance that it could be, that's what they will do. Because even if you catch the tick, it might not be the one that bit you. Maybe that one walked off. But a rash is common to a lot of different diseases. And oftentimes with Lyme disease, you don't develop a rash. There's only one rash that I would say is really very diagnostic, and that's the one associated with Bartonella, which looks like stretch marks. So if you get something weird that looks like stretch marks, and you're not feeling good, and you have pain in the bottom of your feet, that's another weird one with that, maybe get a test for Bartonella, which is not included on a typical tick panel.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Man.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel.
Let's be realistic here. Obviously, people on Long Island love to go to the beach, and people go hiking. If you take moderate precautions, chances are you're going to be safe, right?
Yes. There's a couple of things I want to mention about the moderate precautions. People think because they have socks on and they've pulled them up over their pants, they're protected. But let's take a look at Mr. Sock here for a minute. This is actually a gauntlet I use for stinging insects over my gloves.
Your puppet sock.
Oh, that is my puppet sock. No. Okay, oh boy. So if we were to hold this, actually you can see my gloves through that. See how large those holes are? And of course when your leg's in there, the larval ticks and sometimes even the nymphs can dart right through there. So you need to have something that's tightly woven.
And you know where I found where the itch was?
Where?
Right where my socks were.
There you go, the sock line. And if you wrap tape backwards so the sticky side is out, that's going to help too. The other thing that people tend to make a mistake with is if they spray themselves down, they think they're completely protected. But we know that some of the products out there don't last for very long, or they're not terribly effective against ticks. So you always have to be mindful, watchful, carry your stuff with you so that you can, take a look. And when you get home, check yourself. Mechanic's mirror.
Larvae ticks, they don't carry disease as much as adults. Is that true?
They don't carry disease at all because you're the first thing that they have fed on of the diseases that we talk about. There is something transovarial transmission, but that's not common, especially with diseases around here.
Okay.
Also,
so if I get bit by larvae, I mean, I just want to watch and take care. I mean, it's not.
Yeah,
an
you
issue
don't
as
want to
much.
scratch it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
also,
okay.
only the larval lone stars at this point are an issue. The larval deer tick and dog ticks want nothing really to do with humans. I mean, they'll feed on them, but they much prefer rodents.
Okay.
You should probably carry this in your beach bag, and this is a little identification card, which you can get from us.
Okay, so that's a Cornell on the website?
It's not on the website.
Okay.
We have copies of these, and these are put out, I think, by New York State IPM, yes. And that just shows
Integrated
you...
Pest Management, right?
Yes, which is a very wonderful program. But this is a neat little card, and it just helps you, especially if you've got the magnifier, to take a look. And I will point out one more thing. The mouth parts of each type of tick are very distinctive.
Right.
The deer tick has mouth parts like needle nose pliers, the dog tick like blunt nose pliers, and the lone star tick like an old-fashioned candle mold.
You can see those with a magnifying glass, or with
The
naked
adults,
eye?
you can see it almost with a naked eye,
Oh,
which
okay.
with
The
a
mouth
magnifying
parts?
glass you most certainly can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's go find some
All right.
ticks.
Yeah, I'll give you your important high-tech piece of equipment
Okay,
here.
we'll put this right in here in case we need it.
Right.
No,
Be careful.
we try to be very careful.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not doing this right because it's a windy day. If I were doing it right, what I'd actually do is drag it flat like this for about 10 paces. Like I said, we could use the weights today because of the wind. And that's about 10 paces there. And then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to look and see what I've got. And oftentimes at first it looks like you have nothing on there, and then all of a sudden something starts to move.
Tamson, did you find anything?
No, I didn't find anything.
Okay, what do you think the reason is?
Well, I think it's awfully dry. So my guess is that's probably why we did not find anything today. We haven't had a decent rainfall for a very long time. There are other places in this area where I might have better luck, but it looks like it's pretty quiet for today, which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Absolutely. All right, well, thanks again, and we'll catch up with you sometime again out in the middle of nowhere like this.
All right, sounds like fun to me.
Yeah. Thank you very much for coming, Tamson. It was
No
great. I
problem.
learned a lot. I mean, there's information I thought I was fairly knowledgeable about ticks. But
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, learned a lot more.
There's every time I go looking for info, there's always some little tidbit that I can use to add to it.
Great.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, that's our podcast for this week. Thanks for watching. If you've been enjoying these shows and want more information on the marine environment and all that the Marine program does, please subscribe to Cornell Marine's YouTube channel and hit that bell for notifications when we post a video. This isn't the only content we do. Our channel is all about the programs and outreach to you. Have a great week and see you next time.
That's good.